Hi guys, and welcome back to Pass the Move. For today's episode, we do have the game for you here, just like we mentioned in the last episode against Arouca. So it is the 28th round or 28th game of the Premier League season in Portugal, and as always, a huge game. Every game is really important, of course, in the league. It's a marathon after all, and we'll need to do well. So since the last episode, it's been quite the downfall in form, to be honest. But yeah, just the normal player stats for you here quickly kind of remained the same. So Danilo's got about 4 of these here: highest average rating, yellow cards, red cards, and player of the match awards. Julian Fernandez still the best pass completion rate, kind of good to see. But also at the same time, he is an anchor man, so you don't expect too much from him in terms of his passing. He's got some decent passing, of course, but the point is that you don't expect him to take any risks. He's got decent vision, to be fair to him, though. Fabio Martins, of course, still with the assists, and Hassan with the goals, so it's kind of standard performances, really. In terms of the league, though, as you can see, we are just in second place with a game in hand to really, put a nice little 3 points gap between ourselves and Benfica and Sporting, and of course as well with Ferreira. Porto are the team who are miles ahead of anyone else, almost 20 points, but of course they have played a game in hand too, so we can shut that gap down to, I think that's 18 currently, so that means it would be 15 points if we do win today's game. It's really helpful for Porto because they've already qualified for the Europa League, and if they continue performing, they should be well out of sight is what I mean, for the Champions League as well. And hopefully we'll get that second table spot, of course, because it's very unlikely we get first. It's not like Porto are going to lose the remaining 9 games of the season and we win the next 10. So actually it's not even 9 games, is it? 17 teams into 2, that's 34. So they actually just have 6 more games. So yeah, that's just kind of how it separates us. For us, we've only got 7 games left, so if you do manage to win all of them, a huge 21 points, then we're really set. It will be a huge result basically, and we do have quite an interesting run-in. But yeah, let's talk about what happened since the last episode. Should we show you that nice little convincing win against Estoril, but after what followed was some terrible results. So we got knocked out by Dortmund in the Europa League second knockout round. Nothing to be too ashamed of, to be honest. They only beat us by a single goal, but it was disappointing that we didn't get any away goals and put ourselves in our own good position. We did start off with contain as we intended to, like we mentioned in the towards the end of the last episode, and unfortunately that didn't stop Dortmund from scoring, and then we had to come out of our shell. It was actually kind of funny because once we came out of our shell, we didn't really manage to score. But neither did we, so it didn't really prove too much, to be honest. We couldn't keep the clean sheet. Some silly goals, and my team conceded some strange goals sometimes during the season, and I'm hoping that will improve later on. Rio Ave, 2-1 loss. Very, very bad loss. You can understand the draw against Porto, but Rio Ave, we actually managed to score what I thought would be the winner for the game, with Miguel Rosa scoring in the 80th minute. But they had a huge comeback through Cafe and Santos. Of course, one of the goals was a penalty, but just, they managed to overturn the result within 2 minutes' time, and my players just completely fell apart defensively. So again, back-to-back poor performances from my defenders. As you can see, both fullbacks kind of struggled, and even the centre-backs didn't have a particularly amazing game. And against Dortmund, most of my defence just had a quiet game, you could say. Porto, you can respect a 1-1 draw, particularly because Rossa scored in the 91st minute, so it was great for us to kind of get somewhat a comeback of our own. Not necessarily a win, but at least we did, actually get a point from this game. Against Gil Vicente, they managed to make things uncomfortable for us. So Hassan scored in the 40th minute. Julian Fernandez got sent off for us in the 55th in a very crucial moment, because about 20 minutes later, Pino managed to score for his team, and suddenly Gil Vicente could have gone through on away goals. But thankfully for us, Fabio Martins popped up 3 minutes later to give us the winner, and it means we are in a cup final, thankfully. So I was telling you guys about how last episode, hopefully next time we meet, we'll still progress in the competitions. We managed to do that in one of them, and we beat expectations in the other, in the Europa League. And of course we lost against a very respectable team in Dortmund, who are miles ahead in terms of quality. And yeah, so we do have the game against Arouca here. Just a couple of updates in terms of transfers. I've made a couple of signings, and some interesting signings, to be honest. So I initially wanted Reco Silva and and David. Both players are only second division players, but they have huge potential, especially David, who is a central defender who looks really good right now, to be honest, in terms of attributes. But yeah, his development would have been amazing for us, really, for the first team. Unfortunately for us, both with Diogo David as well as Reco Silva, both players were youngsters with huge potential that we could have signed for free, but they're both clubs, when they recognize that they're going to lose their talent, they just triggered their contract extension for another year. So unfortunately we missed out on as it says here, it got cancelled in the very last minute. You know, we already sorted the contract out and everything. Yeah, we did manage to sign these three players here: Jordan Machado, Pedro Mendes, and Fredrik Oldrup Jensen as well. Hopefully we'll set some nicknames for these people so it makes it a bit easier to say. But Jordan Machado is actually going to be transferred. I'm not sure why our scouting's gone. It's a bit weird. We already had him scouted and that's why we were signing him. But yeah, he's supposed to be a good player for the league, and I'm actually a little stunned. I thought I only made two signings. Man, my memory is so poor. But I'm pretty sure all of my players are at least good players for the league, and you know, they were signed for free. We can't sit around and you know, act as if we've got a ton of money. The reality is, even if I go all the way, we've only got 10 million, so you can't really do too much with that. And of course I wanted to finally rely on our own players and not have to bring in loanees, so we've done that. We've addressed some positions here. So centre back means that we don't have to rely on what's his name, Montes, and Pedro Mendes as well is another player that we're looking to bring in. He's the ball-playing defender who's actually going to replace Montes there. Mendes replacing Montes. And I think Mercado is just a little bit of competition for George or Rosic, and you know, just to see who's the better player, see what's going on. And actually, it'll be interesting to see. I'm actually going to scout him, and maybe after the game I can show you guys just to be a bit more clearer. It's a bit weird because all the other ones are. I'm not even sure. Is it me who's made that signing, or is he joining Braga B or something? But I'm in charge of Braga B now. Purchase players. Why is the director of football? It could be him, you know. Because I honestly don't remember signing him. Yeah, it's probably got nothing to do. So we've addressed two positions at least, which is the ball-playing defender here in Mendes. He's really good. Let me show you him again, actually. So he's got nice little vision. For some strange reason, he's comfortable playing all three positions, but the truth is he's best as a ball-playing defender. He's got good vision, decent technique, passing's not bad either, and he just sort of fits the mold there, and that way he's got nice competition between himself and Jubal for the ball-playing defender spot. He understands he's a rotational player. He's not going to expect too much game time, but he should try and fight for a spot in the first team, of course. Fredrik as well is actually going to be our anchor man, so we've addressed two positions that are leaving. Not a bad halfback at all. I'd love to actually see him play there, but he's very comfortable playing in a number of different roles, so it'll be, you know, good to see him there. He plays the central midfielder on defend duty, probably best, but yeah, we're going to be using him as an anchor man. He's got all the attributes for it, some really nice attributes here. Norwegian, and again, good player for the league. And yeah, obviously we're looking for leading players, but we, you know, you have to take advantage of the free transfer market sometimes, and so we've got ahead with some signings here. And then if we find that there's a couple of players that we can't help but buy during the actual summer transfer window, and who knows, maybe we'll have actually some more money to spend as well, then we can address that and actually bring in some better players too. But for now, at least we've plugged those whole two positions at least, and there's no one for the left back spot just yet. Maybe we'll have to rely on loanees again. So huge misses here today. As you can see, we're actually missing a player from the bench. Marafona came back from injury only to get injured again. He's back in 4 to 6 days, but he won't make today's game. Danilo and Julian Fernandez suspended after a million yellow cards and red cards and singles for Simao Azevedo. Pedro Santos just managed to get injured once more. He's playing in quite good form before he managed to get injured. Let me see if I can show you. Oh, apparently just 6.86 average rating, but he did have 2 assists, so he's actually starting to pick up his form. And then he got injured again, so 2 to 3 weeks again missing. And that's why we've got the player missing on the bench. But yeah, this is the team we'll go with for today's game. I think we'll kick off and I can talk more about who's starting and what's going on, but at least you got an idea of the players that are missing. And yeah, just huge 3 points. We really don't want to be level with the other two teams breathing down our neck in the Sporting and Benfica. We are in second currently, but by no means is that position secure for us, of course. So it's going to be a huge result. Even Ferreira are fighting for the Champions League spot, and it'll be quite telling to see. Quite interesting as well, actually, to see who actually ends up in that spot. So favourites for today's game, and you'd expect that. Arouca are a mid-table team. But yeah, any team in the Portuguese league can cause you damage, so hopefully we can do something here. They're playing with an attacking version of our formation, I suppose you can say. Instead of defensive midfielder, they're going with an attacking one. But we should have him on lockdown with Rossell, hopefully going to have a good game. We've got Hassan playing as a striker. He's our main man, of course. Fabio Martins playing in an out of position. Normally he's a left winger, inside forward. He's actually right-footed, so playing as an inside forward on the right normally means you have to actually be a winger, but it's just the formation we're going with, so hopefully he'll still cut in and hopefully not do too poorly with his left foot. Rosso, though, is playing in his main position. He's the one who's been informed. Fabio Martins is the one who gets recalled to the side, so it kind of makes sense to play him outside of his position as Rosso is in good form. Of course, both our right wingers were injured. That's why we're not playing any of them. Simao Azevedo as well as Pedro Santos. So we were forced to plug that, and hopefully won't, hopefully nothing bad will happen, basically. Hopefully Martins will still have a good game or a decent performance at least, basically. Pereira as a fullback, he's been decent in recent games, overtaking Paulino. And it's good to see, because I think Pereira is the one that we actually did sign. He's not a low knee, so hopefully if he can keep performing well, he can improve as well. He hasn't had too much game time, and maybe if he puts in some good performances, he can overtake Paulino. The same goes for our left back here, but he is the low knee. Of course, Huancar is on the bench if need be, but he's not necessarily in incredible form, so we've given a nod for him. And now it's a chance for the low knee to actually prove his worth and go back to his club in good form. Jabal and Arthur George they're kind of the standard centre-back pairing for this season, to be honest. Rosic has really fallen off, not performing too well, and it's kind of disappointing as a captain. And Rosic is George has just been. He's played the majority of the games, basically, so if he continues, then there's no reason why he can't overtake Rosic. Russell as well, we already mentioned, because Julian's suspended. Guerrero was the same thing, so these players have a huge opportunity to overtake their first team players. Russell in particular, who's been rotated a lot with Julian Fernandez, as neither of them has seriously claimed their spot. The only player who's seriously claimed their spot is actually Jubal, who's played a huge number of games for us this season. I think it adds up to 40 plus. And he's just proven to be a very key man for us. Fonte back in the side as well, overtaking Joka once more, because Joka actually took over Fonte's spot for a while there. So Fonte will want to be he'll want to prove that he's actually a first team and that he's got more quality than Joka. In terms of ability, though, they're both good players for the league. Moreira as well has potential to actually be a leading player for us, and he's got plenty of game time this season because Marafona has been injured. And so if he continues being in good form, there's no reason really for me to actually take him off for Marafona. So again, another opportunity to actually prove his worth to the team. I think we can finally kick off now. Don't want to keep rumbling on. And hopefully we get another good game. 3 goals once more would be perfect, just like the last episode. Like I mentioned, 49 starts as well for Jubal. Moreira, a decent number of games, 31 there. And yeah, a lot of the other players are just being substituted, but some nice 20s in there too. Alright, so yeah, hopefully 3 points, more important than the 3 goals really. And if we get a nice little game like the last episode, I'll be a very happy man. But Arouca at home, very capable of springing up something on us and stealing a result away from us, which would be very disappointing, of course. But yeah, I mean, not too bad in terms of tactics or players. We're really hoping to, if we end the season with a second league spot, or second league position, not second league position, I don't even know what I'm saying now. If we end the season in second and win the Taça de Portugal, then I would consider an improvement as well as a good season. So that means we're actually improving. We're improving a lot. Well, not a lot slower, but slower than my initial expectations. Like I mentioned last episode, I thought the players would already be winning the Premier League by now. In third season is normally where it kicks off. But if you end in second with Porto miles ahead of everyone else, it kind of makes sense that will, take a while for us to overtake them, especially because they've got huge chunks of money and they can pretty much buy anyone they want to buy. So we have to qualify for Champions League frequently before we can actually do some serious damage. And Arouca have a chance to do us damage. Guerrero's dealt with the initial ball, but another one comes into the box. Ooh, nice little save from Moreira there. He's proven himself, to be honest, in the game at least. Whenever the match engine shows me highlights, Moreira makes a lot better saves than Marafona does, and Marafona does a lot more errors. But you know, when it comes to form and stuff, it still shows Marafona quite equal to Moreira. But yeah, I'm hoping Moreira will overtake him. As I mentioned, you know, that's why we bought him initially. We're going to switch up into control to try and really push out on Arouca, they started kind of slow, and then they just, I don't even know what to call it, they just blazed on ahead of us and suddenly managed 7 shots and 3 on target, a clear-cut chance and a half chance too. So we're actually the team who've been playing worse. Normally I tell my players off we're at home, but we are away, so we just want to wake them up a bit. Let's say this, keep going out there and we can still win. Hopefully they'll wake up a bit. I think I agree with like this guy, Augusto, that it was disappointing, but when you're away from home and morale's not too good, you're better off praising your players. Not too much, just motivating them is the word actually, not praising, just motivating them, telling them, you know, you're still in this, you can win this, and maybe it'll pay off, hopefully. Let's see if it will, or whether Arouca will capitalize on a good first half. So yeah, you know, after understanding the Portuguese Premier League a little bit more now, it makes sense that it will take a while. What a goal. It would take a while for us to actually catch up to Porto, and we will need successive Champions League appearances to actually do that. The good thing is though, the board are very happy to continuously invest in the club. They've done that with the training facilities, the youth training facilities, junior coaching, youth recruitment. You know, every time I ask, they say yes, yes, yes. Other than the one time where they initially said yes and then didn't have the money to follow through, so that's kind of understandable. But the point is that they are improved. I think we've improved the club a lot than how they were initially, and you know, I mean, you can't ask for too much, to be honest. We're very better off, but we just haven't met expectations or targets really, rather than expectations, because we've gone way beyond expectations without doubt. They're a Europa League team, and we've kind of turned them into a Champions League team and shown ourselves to be quite competitive. So Rossa is having a poor game, and Martins, maybe we'll just switch them around, give Martins a bit of game time in his preferred position, see if he can do any better than Rossa. Rossa, unfortunately, no one to take him off for. There's Raniel on the bench, but he's, you know, he's a right. He'd be playing as a winger there, not as an inside forward. He's right-footed. We want to bring him on for Hassan now, anyways. Actually, because Hassan was a bit tired. Fonte. Should we leave him on? No, let's bring on Joka. And no real other substitutions we can make. So let's see if there's any defenders tied or anything. Rossa, it's only yellow, which is disappointing, but we don't have a defensive midfield. We've basically got a whole defence here. Right backs, 2 centre backs and a left back. But none of them are necessarily tired or having a poor game. So we'll leave as is for now and see what we can do for our last substitution. Hopefully these 2 substitutions will make a difference, because we definitely need it. And just before we do those substitutions, there's going to be one more highlight. Arouca having, I don't know what's wrong with my players, to be honest. Maybe I should have told them off at half time. Stupid long range shot though, so maybe this highlight will actually end in our favour, unless this highlight is just to show us a stupid shot. And that's, there you go, Football Manager for you. Alright, and it looks like Arouca's attacking stance on the game has actually paid off for them. And maybe we can make a substitution here that will pay off for us. So Jobal's actually tired, I'd rather take him off, but Soa here has had a poor game, so we'll bring on Huancar. He's also had a yellow, so maybe Huancar can make a difference for us. You really never know who coming off the bench will make a difference. It's not necessarily just attacking players. I know I make attacking substitutions normally, it's just because they're more likely to, but the truth is anyone can make a difference for you. Alright, so let's quickly switch up to fluid, and in a moment's time I'll go into overload. Maybe we'll still be able to steal a result here. Doesn't look like it. Alright, let's do this. Let's go into overload and then go into fluid. Please pay off and not concede another. Or maybe just not show any highlights at all. Yeah. Alright, so it looks like we're gonna get a loss here unless my team scores in 20 seconds time. Jabal does win the initial header. Raniel on the ball, finds Rossa quite well. What's he going to do here? Finds Joka, and maybe there's a chance here. He's going to take a stupid long range shot, isn't he? No, instead he finds Huancar really well. Good ball into the box. Nope, not at all. I said Huancar might make the difference, but definitely not like that. Not with that backhand across and Arouca get away with a home win. Thankfully, we remain in second, but the truth is, like Augusto says, definitely not good enough. We are favourites, it's unacceptable. And now our position in the Champions League is under threat. So, we'll actually have a couple of games time. Normally we do 5 games like we always like to mention. Or I don't know why I always say we, like there's a collective group here of people recording, it's just me. By we I mean pass and move. But yeah, basically it's normally 5 games time, but there's 6 games left this season. So what we'll do is we'll actually play 5 games. I say 5 games time, which means I show you the 5th game, but I play 4. So this time I'll actually play 5 and then show you the 6th game, as well as a back-to-back episode basically, where we'll show you the last game of the season against Morense and show you the final against Rio Ave. I didn't realise it was against Rio Ave. Did I forget, or did we actually draw them beforehand? Either way, the point is we're facing off against a team who've had very bad results against. So we've only beaten them twice out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times facing them. So they've beaten us 3 times, we've beaten them twice, and we've drawn twice. So we definitely can't be considered favourites for this, for the final. But anything can happen in the cup games. So yeah, they're 3 points ahead in terms of the head-to-head results, and in terms of managers. Oh, I think they've changed managers, which is why it's showing a different set of results. So he's beaten me twice, and I've only beaten him once. So I guess you could say he's kind of got me figured out, I guess. Let's actually have a look at him. Not a bad manager at all. They've actually got a decent Italian manager. Some not bad experience over there with Udinese, Atlanta. He's not doing a bad job at all. Played a lot in Italy, or managed rather a lot in Italy. Some good attributes. Career stats, no achievements. Let's see, competitions. Okay, that's not really saying much. Oh, he won the Italian Serie B with Atlanta, so that's not bad. He's done it twice actually. Won the Mitropa Cup with Pisa. This is his playing career. Alright, well either way. Okay, so I'll actually come back to my team. I actually want to see the scout report of that player that we scouted before. There you go, that's him. Yeah, that's definitely not me. I would never buy a player like that. He's good PT Championship signing, which is a bit weird. Oh, there is a little bit of an update in terms of the Braga B team, so it looks like they're going to get relegated. They still have a chance of being in the playoffs, but the likelihood is they've had some poor form, and the reason is they don't have too many players. So that's why I set my director of football. They don't have the best of players, and just kind of makes sense. A lot of these players, as you can see here, are actually the ones that I sent. I haven't sent them there. I just made them available for some of the games for fitness reasons. But it looks like we're actually going to drop a division. That'll be very disappointing because, of course, I like to send some of my youth players for second league experience. But yeah, maybe I can. Hopefully, the director of football make some investments, as well as me sending some youngsters during the next season. But if they do stay up, it'll be amazing. Actually, it'll be perfect for us, so we can send some more youngsters there. But anyways, like I mentioned, so we will be back for that last game of the season, as well as the Taça de Portugal. Huge games, of course, and it'll be very interesting to see how we end our season. It could definitely turn our season completely around. We do have some tough games coming up. Valente are in the relegation zone, so they'll want to come and try and get out of that zone. Guimeras are our rivals, so very tough games. Sporting, of course, this game could be the difference between Champions League football and Europa League football, but hopefully within these 3 results here, we already would be in a better spot. And yeah, these two, every team is tough in the Portuguese league, really, to be honest. It's quite close. But yeah, I think that'll be all for today's episode. So if you did enjoy it, then of course please do hit the like button, as well as subscribe for more Daily Football Manager 2017 content. And as always guys, thank you all very, very much for watching.